Hello everyone, Deacon Ed McCormick here out on a beautiful day at St. John the Baptist Catholic Community. I have been in the midst of the busiest part of my semester, so it's been a while since I've published a video. But now that we've started Holy Week, I really wanted to share with you this week a couple of videos on the meaning of these high holy days, the holiest time of the year for Christians around the world. We began this week yesterday with what is known as Palm Sunday, and at the heart of the Palm Sunday Mass is the reading of the Passion, Death, and Crucifixion of Jesus. And each year on Palm Sunday we read one of the Synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, or Luke. And this year we read Mark's version of Jesus' Passion and Crucifixion. And then on what we call Holy Thursday, we will read John's Gospel's account of the Last Supper. And interestingly enough, in that account, there is actually no recounting of the Eucharist. At the center of the Last Supper in John's Gospel is Jesus washing the feet of his disciples in the posture of a servant. And then on Good Friday, we read another version of Jesus' Passion and Crucifixion, this time John's Gospel. And then on Saturday evening, the Easter Vigil, the church around the world recounts and reads some of the major parts of our story, starting with Genesis and remembering Abraham and how God called Moses and the Jewish people and the Jewish covenant. And then we turn to the prophets, all leading up to Paul and finally Jesus and his resurrection. And that leads us then into the Easter season. So that's Holy Week in its practicalities. I want to just make one suggestion for helping you to enter into this rich and powerful week. And it is this. My suggestion is to pick up your Bible and read Mark's account of Jesus' Passion and Crucifixion. It's just chapters 14 and 15 of his Gospel. Read it over slowly, perhaps imagining yourself there in the scene. Imagining yourself sitting at the Last Supper. Imagine yourself in the Garden of Gethsemane as Jesus is praying, or when the Judas and the soldiers come and arrest him. Maybe imagine being there with Peter as he's warming his hands by the fire and then betrays and denies Jesus. Or maybe you visit Jesus at night in Caiaphas' house after he has been interrogated. Or perhaps you're in the crowd when Pilate sends him out towards Golgotha to be crucified. And maybe you find yourself standing there at the cross as he dies. So I encourage you, read Mark's Gospel. Read it slowly, imagine yourself in the scene, and then read John's version. We always read John's version on Good Friday. And John's version is totally different from Matthew, Mark, and Luke's version. Yes, the basic characters are there. There's the Last Supper. There's Jesus arrested in Gethsemane. There's the interrogation by the high priest. Pilate's there. He is tortured and he's crucified on Golgotha and buried right nearby. All of those features are there. But you'll notice when you read John's version, Jesus is in charge. He's powerful. Whereas in Matthew, Mark, and Luke's version, Jesus is powerless. So I encourage you to enter into both of these stories, because what the church is inviting us to do is to do something unusual, in fact revolutionary, and that is to enter into Jesus' perspective on these horrific events. Instead of taking the perspective of the mob, the Roman Empire, the Jewish leadership, we're asked to identify with Jesus, to identify with the person who was arrested, charged, who is beaten and tortured and killed. This is a perspective that can only be taken through the power of the Spirit. I wish you a blessed Holy Week, and I hope to see you soon in other videos related to this week.